The story I am about to tell is top secret, classified by the government. I was mind erased like 3 times because I kept on remembering it. And they were like, hey, forget it. And I'm like, never. And so eventually they gave up and I still remember it. But then it's like us 4 were the only people who were actually there when it happened. So, I mean, it's pretty classified. So once you hear it, like, you better not go tell people, or it's like an Area 51 thing, and they're going to abduct you and erase your memory and put you back in your bed, and you'll be like, what? So what happened was, back in 2005,
when Daniel was 8 and I was 6,
when I was 8 years old, I was abducted by pirates. Now, you're like, oh, that just happens all the time, Daniel, that's not such a big deal. And I'm like, yeah, well, it was a special abduction, because the pirate's name was Scruffy Beard, and his middle name was Scruffy Beard Mikeness. And so, this pirate named Scruffy Beard kidnapped me when I was playing on the beach. I was on the beach, I was just building a sandcastle, having a wonderful old time. I had like my little sand family, and they were having a little sand venture, and like, they were about to get like hit by the wave, and all of a sudden I see this big pirate ship. It's like, they pull up onto the shore, and I'm like, pirate ships can't go on land, but it just kept on coming. It was like, and it stopped like this far away from my face. And so like we got this big old ship, and it's like, you know how a pirate ship's shaped, right? Like a big old like semicircle. But like this end of the semicircle was like right up in my face, and then there's like a mermaid on the front of the boat, but it wasn't a real mermaid. Like it was made of stone. It was like this. And so anyway, I was like looking up at this big mermaid. It's like looking down at me, and I'm like, what? Why is this mermaid here? And then I see Scruffy Beard McMikeness, and he looks me right in the eye, and he's like, "Arr, laddie, you going to get on my boat?" I'm like, that's not a very good pirate accent. And he's like, "Arr, whatever, get on my boat." I'm like, but my parents said I need to be back for arr. And I'm like, okay. And so I got on the boat, and they were like, okay, let me show you to the stowaway's cabin. And he walked me to the back of the ship, and he opened the back door, and there was Chris, Lucas, and Jacob. Jacob was 5 years old. Lucas was also 5 years old. Chris was 6, and I was 8. I was the leader of them, obviously, because I was the oldest. So here's the 4 of us in the cabin, and then we were in like a cabin that looked sort of like this one, but it was like on a pirate ship.
There was only one bathroom.
There was only one bathroom. So that's it was in the middle, like you see where like it's shaped the exact same, like all the stuff's here, like that water bottle right there was there. It's just the only difference was that where the bulletin board was one bathroom, and so they obviously renovated it since then, because it turns out this is the hull of that pirate ship. Just the other part of the pirate ship buried underneath the ground. Fun fact. So anyway, here I am in this cabin, and there's like a ship steering wheel, like right here, and there's Scruffy Beard McMikeness on the steering wheel. He's got his like backless chaps, a little bum flap, so if he has to use the washroom, he can just unbutton it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then he's got his bum flap, and everything's going well, and he's just sitting there steering, and he realizes he's still in the middle of the land, right? So Chris and I, Lucas, Jacob, and I were all sitting back there wondering what he wanted with us, because we just wanted to go home. They were making macaroni. We were all over at each other's house. We were going to have an awesome sleepover, maybe watch some Shrek. And so, Shrek is love, Shrek is life. Anyway, so what we decided to do, we were like, you know what? We should just tell him that he's in the middle of land and the pirate ships can't go on land. And so I walked up and I'm like, excuse me, Scruffy Beard McMikeness. You're on land. Pirate ships can't go on land. He's like, do you see any cops? And he pulls the fly button, and his pirate ship grows wings, and it picks off into the sky, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, anything I want, because I'm a pirate, and pirates don't follow laws. But then the sky police start chasing us, and they're like, excuse me, sir, pull over, you're doing more than the speed limit in this area. And he's like, arrgh! And so it became a giant cannon battle in the middle of the sky with 3 police cars, all with jet engines attached to the back of them with duct tape. Duct tape jet engines. And so it was pretty epic. We were busy throwing things. We threw like a couple cannonballs back because we can't, like, they were behind us, right? So like here we are in our big flying cabin ship, and we're going at least 40 miles per hour. Isn't very fast. And then here are the cops behind us, gaining speed, and so we're just throwing random objects. We're like, ball, cannonball, Chris, and then we're like, what, Chris? And we accidentally thrown Chris at the cops, and so we had to turn on the air brakes. And we just stopped. We turned around, and we went back and we caught Chris. But at this point, Chris was unconscious again because Chris gets knocked out quite frequently. And so Chris was unconscious, and the cops were gaining on us. And so Scruffy Beard McMike's like, I don't know what we're gonna do. And I'm like, I got an idea. And he's like, what? And so I waddle up to him and I whisper in his ear. He's like, that's a great idea. And then everyone's like, what did you say? What did you say? He's like, you'll see. And then Scruffy Beard McMike just goes, takes steering wheel and just points it downwards. And we just start spiraling towards the ocean because we were flying over the ocean, even though we were in a pirate ship. So I don't know why we weren't sailing, but I don't know. So anyway, it turned into a submarine because it's a pirate ship and pirates don't obey laws. Laws of physics, laws of gravity, laws of laws. So anyway, here we are under the water. And have you ever seen 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea? Because that seems like a pretty old movie. I don't think you know what it is. Lost the cops, but here they are, like, overhead of us. They got searchlights, and they're like, hey, come out! We've got you surrounded! And neither Lucas or Jacob remember what happened because they drowned. We got them back later, though, so it's alright. So Lucas, Jacob, and Chris were all floating at the top of the water because they were all unconscious because everyone else gets knocked out in these stories. For some reason, I'm just not a good guy to be around. I just knock people out, left, right, and center. It's never on purpose, it just sort of happens. And so there's the three of them floating on the surface. They got arrested, because cops, and they put them in the juvie for a couple of years. Anyway, so here I am with Scruffy Beard McMikeness on this pirate ship, all alone, 10,000 leagues under the sea, and we're just sort of cruising. We've got the tunes up. Got some Jason Derulo up in here.
What?
Some good stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to crack a window because it's getting sort of stuffy, right? So I go up to that window right there and I start to open it and water starts coming in. I'm like, what the heck? I don't get it. And so I start putting the window on more and I just get knocked back against the wall and the water just keeps on coming and I'm like, Captain! And he's like, arr! And I'm like, what is happening? He's like, you opened a window underwater! I'm like, oh no. And so the ship, we no longer had any air whatsoever, so we had to abandon ship, we had to float to the top of the water, and we're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, all alone. Just me and Scruffy Beard McMike. Who looked a lot like Mike, except he had a pirate hat. We're floating there, and we start to hear some theme music. We're like, da-na, da, da-na-na-na-na-na. Like, oh no, I saw this movie, no! And the big shark starts coming up. And he gets up here and he opens his mouth. Coming. He's 5 feet from us. He opens his big mouth and says, "Hey guys, what's up?" Like, hi. And he's like, "Do you need a ride to land?" And I'm like, yes, please, yes, please. And so we climb onto the fins of the shark and he just starts flapping his little shark tail because he's like a really big shark, but he's just got a really big head. He's got like a little body. Like, have you ever seen a T-Rex? Like. See how small the T-Rex's arms are? Yeah. Well, it's like head to body ratio with this guy. Like, he's got like big old head. Punch Jacob in the face. He's got a big old head and like a body that's about this big. And so he's flapping his little shark fins. We're not going very fast. We're sort of sitting on his head, having a good time. And all of a sudden, we start to hear music, but we're not sure what it's coming from. And it's coming from directly above us. And it's "You Spin Me Right Round Like a Record Baby" by Flo Rida. And I'm like, but this song didn't come out till 2008, and it was a time machine from the future that appeared directly above our head and started falling down directly above us, and it knocked the shark unconscious. And so there we were, once again in the middle of the ocean, but there was this time machine floating right ahead of us, so Scruffy Beard and I float a little bit closer to the time machine, and we stop, because we don't know what's in it. We're like, okay, this could be one of two things. could be an alien, or it could be a time traveler. And so I was hoping for time traveler, because aliens usually aren't very friendly. And there it is. It's got smoke coming out. It's like, psst.
Like the refrigerator.
It's making really ominous noises. It's like,
can I show you?
I don't want to open it. I don't want to open it. Scruffy Beard's like, oh! He takes the door and he rips it off because he's just too strong, and he throws the door 300 miles away and knocks someone unconscious. And then a silhouette starts to emerge from the time machine, and it is Chris from the future now. He had a beard, and Chris was still the same height and pretty skinny, but he still had a beard, and it was pretty manly of him. And so there he was like, come with me if you want to survive. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I got my floaties, and I had my little arm ducks. Except they were real, too. They were just real ducks I had tied around my arm with duct tape. I was like, whack, whack. I'm like, what do you think, arm ducks? Whack. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I just continued to float there, but then Scruffy Beard was like, arr, we got to go into the time machine. I'm like, okay, well, if you insist. And so I swam a little closer, and then I felt something rising from underneath me, and I just swam as fast as I could because I thought it was a sea monster. To this day, I don't remember what it was, but I don't really want to find out. And so we got into the time machine, and it brought us 10,000 years into the past, where the dinosaurs are, with T-Rexes and Bull Rexes. We went all the way back to the Cretaceous period, the one that I can't really pronounce. To the Cretaceous... See that scale right there?
Jurassic period.
To the Cretaceous. Right after Jurassic. Because, fun fact, Tyrannosaurus Rexes didn't come around to the Cretaceous period. So they couldn't have existed in Jurassic Park, the movie. But that's for another day. So we were in the Cretaceous period, back all the way. If this is now, this right here is where we are about right now. So we went all the way back from, like 2008, so it was about right here. And so went all the way back from 2005, all the way back to the Cretaceous period. So many millions of years ago. And we got there, and we just heard the Jurassic Park theme song, and it was like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And there's big dinosaurs moving everywhere, and I'm like, I don't like this. So we went back to the present, because the Cretaceous period's scary, and there's things that want to eat me. And I don't like it when things try to eat me. And so back in the present, every time you time travel, you move places. And so instead of being in the Atlantic Ocean, we ended up in Zimbabwe, when we went back to the Cretaceous period. So when we came back, we ended up right on top of my house, which is really convenient, because I was hungry, and I wanted supper, and so I went inside, I got my mac and cheese, and all of a sudden, Scruffy Beard, who apparently wasn't done kidnapping me, broke down the front door with his big arms, and ran in, grabbed me, and smashed out the back window, and I'm like, but help! Mommy, help! And she was like, okay, see you tomorrow, dear, and I'm like, Mom! She's like, bye! And I'm like, oh! And so he kidnapped me again, and then he got into the airplane I kept in my shed, and he flew it all the way to the cabin, and then he shaved off most of his beard, and he said, I'm Mike. I'm like, hey, Mike, what do you need? And he's like, I need you to go to the summer camp. I just started. And I'm like, all right, man, if you need me to. And so that was 11 years ago. And ever since I got kidnapped by Scruffy Beard, I had a good time, now I have a job. It's good. Oh, there you go. That's the story of how I got hired at camp. So, as you all may know or have noticed, I am wearing a poncho. And it's not a regular poncho, it's a poncho that has Germany's flag on it. And a lot of people might be saying, well, maybe it's because Germany won the World Cup.
Yeah.
No. Or maybe it's because I'm